You've told us many times you believe in NeuroTracker, believe in the benefits. What do you think is the major benefit you would see on the field or on the ice?
The major benefit, well, there's several major benefits, but one is kind of having that split-second decision-making time to avoid collisions, which could kind of prevent concussions. But beyond that, it's making decisions of quicker decisions of who's the open man, recognizing a particular forecheck or recognizing a defensive formation, recognizing goalie position, that you could only get with this kind of specific training. When I was in Vancouver, we brought in, perhaps the first in pro hockey. I know we're the first in pro hockey to bring in the cognizant system. Mm-hmm. What's interesting is the players, one of the first things they'd ask, or the coach is more likely to ask, what is the transferability of the work we're doing in the cave with what's going to happen on the ice?
Right.
And in a matter of months, I could show them the data that people who trained the most were the best decision makers on the ice. So we'd ask the coach, so who are the best decision makers?
Without priming them by letting them know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, now let's take a look at the data now. And so there's almost a one-to-one correspondence between the players who spent more of the time in the cave training on the speed of decision making and accuracy of decision making with their accuracy on the ice. So you can't provide better evidence than that. So, and I think that'd be true in soccer, that'd be true in basketball, that people who are willing to commit themselves to training speed and accuracy of decision making, they're going to get better.
Do you ever have to address concerns of transferability from the athletes?
No, I think they understand that you get better at this. They'll be a microsecond faster at avoiding collisions on the ice. Those kinds of things. They really understand that. What the younger generation wants are typically computer-based technology. They're savvy with it. They appreciate it. They're constantly playing games. Well, this is more than a game. Things that we're trying to do now. It's beyond games. It's systematic training of skill acquisition. Mm-hmm. That transfers directly to the sport that they're playing. I found it very difficult to put a value on it, but it's a true mind-body interaction, and we spend most of our time training athletes physically, very little systematic mental training. And I think now we're at the point in 2012 where we can simultaneously train the body and the mind to optimize performance. It is a huge one. And there probably are kind of central nervous system processing skills that vary. And, and one of the things I really appreciate, I like the fact that there is this variance. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be very useful if we had these highly skilled athletes trying to make the National Hockey League, where there isn't much variance, for example, on how they score the first time around. Mm-hmm. Or over time. So it's great to have that variability. And I know last year when we tried to implement it as with all the draft choices coming through, mm-hmm. And see how they scored. And is there any relationship between the high scorers mm-hmm. and those who eventually make it to the National Hockey League? Are they the better decision makers? I found it pretty fascinating to find that the best young 18-year-olds, in terms of decision-making on the ice, likewise were the better decision-makers in the cave. So it became part of our battery in decision-making about who may be the most worthy.
What sort of training techniques would you combine with the NeuroTracker when you were doing the training with the Canucks?
Well, you want to increase the workload.
Right.
And so one of the things I experimented with is just having them handling a puck on kind of an artificial ice in the cave. so that they're essentially at least dual processing, so that they're handling the puck and trying to make decisions about the ball movement, tracking on.
What was your experience? How big how big a distraction is that simple puck handling?
Oh, it is pretty significant. If you're just doing kind of the lateral, side to side, but then you start having them do figure eights, things that they're really gifted at, but they're tracking at the same time. So it's increasing workload, and they're not going to be as good, but that's what you have to do. That's the world of training and sport. You kind of increase the resistance.